Welcome to the program, Mr. Mokhothu. So this week we're speaking to the leader of the Democratic Congress Party in Lesotho. So I want to talk to you about the state of the party, your assessment after the last elections, and any other issues that affect Lesotho. So let's start by asking you, following the last elections in 2022, were you surprised by the outcome of those elections?
Ntate ho o jwalo o ba le che taba e tsang go motho o re o ile wa makala le khotla la habo rona e leng le khotla la puso ya setjhaba le ne le tlile le bonahala metse le metsaneng ya setjhaba sa Basotho le mabatoweng ka bophara le matla a holo dibakeng tseo dikgethong tsa ho feta motho ono ka re le khotla le ne le fokola ho tsona e leng ka mona ka mabalane le ditoropong empa re ile ra sebetsa haholo re le boetapele ba re ile ra le ka ho sebetsa jwale le khotla le letjha le nna thewa ka nako e leng RFP re ne re sa dumele ha kalokalo le ha ntse re bona phephetso ya lona hore le ka hlala re sisinya ka mokgo o matla. And indeed le khotleng la habo rona ha re a thefua ha kalo ka ditulo tse neng re na le tsona parlamenteng ya 10 re ntse re na le tsona parlamenteng ena ya 10 le motso mo bana ne re na le ditulo tse 30 mme ra fela ga khutla dikgetho re ntse re na le ditulo tse 10 a mararo e le hore party eno e ntjha ne re dumela hore ha ya re sisinya ha ka empa e sisintse makgotla a mang haholo not hore bona ha ya re sisinya ho ha ntse e re sisintse re nketse batho dibakenyaneng ka ho fapana fela ntse re lebeletse hore re ka tseba ho qotisa lehlokwa le yona ka mokgo matla empa wa bona la tjhaba sa Basotho se kgahlwa ke ntho tse ntjha tseo ba sa di tsebeng hantle ba etsa di-trial ka maphelo a bona e le ntho eo o le motho o ka reng ha e ha ya nepahala a re a tshwanela ho tshepa sediba se pele ha e tla tabeng ya dintho tsa bophelo jwalo ka ho kgetha hona ke go tla le fendele wa tlang le re busa so sephetho ka ntse le leng se ile sa re makamaka empa ga se ananela hore ke sephetho seo re se fuwang ke IEC e ikemetse mme ha re na pelahelo e kalokalo.
So what went wrong for the DC?
Yeah, actually nothing went wrong for DC empa ke belaela hore bakgethi bona ka bo bona ba bona ke bona ba ileng ba kgahlwa ke party e ntjha haholo ha e nena le setlabotjha sa hore beng ba party ke batho ba hoileng. So that myth of a new party as the party of the rich people took almost everybody by storm. It became some sort of a fashion, a brand which most of the people maybe wanted to identify themselves with.
Were you complacent, having thought that you were going to win the elections? Was there an element of complacence on your part?
No, not necessarily. There are two things when you go for elections, you win or lose. Then having lost elections, we are now back. We introspected ourselves and the party, the leadership, national level in the constituencies and some branches.
So So what has been your assessment, having gone through that post-mortem after the elections?
Ya seo re se fumaneng go hore batho ba bona dibakeng tse ding e ntse le madisi ba sa lahla lekgotla ba ile ba ya kgetha RFP mme re tla matlafatsa the political education se o ditho tsa bo rona, and re tla tswela pele also to recruit new members for the party to strengthen our numbers. Hobane re bone hore ho na le dibaka tseo re se matla haholo ho tsona in terms of followers. So we will rebuild the party and come up with strategies to strengthen ourselves in such areas as the party. We have begun doing so actually.
So, having lost the elections, we have a new Prime Minister. What is your assessment of Dr. Matekane's tenure at present?
Taba e kgolo e ke bonang ka tlhompheto na kgolo le lekgotla la hahabo le mmuso ha ba se ba le ka puso ke taba ya tlhokalo ya tsebo, the governance capability. They are inexperienced in issues of governance. That's one. Two, they over-promised the electorates. And now, because of lack of experience as well, they are unable to adhere to the promises as outlined in the manifesto as the new party. And jwale ba kene pusong hape ka nako eo ka reng ditebello tsa setjhaba ne se di le hodimo, mme bana ba tshwanela ho godisa ka ho phethahatsa ho latela hore na ha ba iketa in the manifesto bana ba hlile ba beile dintlha difetse tse kgolo. So ntho eo will be a bigger challenge to them. The issue of experience, the issue of high hopes of the people, ke yona ntho e tla ba tsietsa haholo. Lona ha ba se ba le pusong, practically how do they handle issues of governance, building governance institutions, and entrenching issues of democracy and fighting corruption. E le ntho eo jwale bona ke bona e le dintho tse tharo tseo ka reng ba fokola haholo ho tsona tseno ha jwale ka nsupile ha bana tsebo e batsi tabeng tsa puso, mme ba bile ba sita ho phethahatsa ditshepiso tsa bona tse ba keng ba di beha ka pele ho setjhaba le taba ya ho bona ho ba aha ditsi tsa mmuso, ditsi tsa puso tse tla tseba ho tsamaisa puso le tsona naha di le matla le hore ba lwantsha taba ya bobodu ka rona ha ena jwale ba ntshetse pele phano ya ditshebeletso le tlhahiso ya mesebetsi. Jwale hona jwale ha re tla tabeng tsa puso ka botsona e tlile ba hlasetse ditsi tsa puso ba di gore they are actually building some sort of state capture. Ba qadile ka ditsi tsa tshireletso se sole sa habo rona mautlwela ha mmoho le sepolesa sa habo rona ke ne ka sepoleseng ka mona o ka bona e ka tsona le bolatolelo nyana, empa o tla bona tsela eo ba hirang ka yona. The police chief is somebody who has actually been recalled from retirement to come and lead mapolesa a habo. Hona le mapolesa a teng mosebetsing mono a ntseng a lebelletse phahamiswa mosebetsing hobane ba etsa boiteko bo botle ba ho sebetsa. Empa haeba o ka lata motho ya seng a phomotse, in short, you are saying all those ones who are still in service, they are incapable, and that demoralizes the police service. So he was in tsa mofuta ono di tlile di bolaya commitment to those who are still in the service. If you can hire a retired particular somebody, so ke bothata ba ka ba pele bono le mmele ka mane ka sohle banza ba entse ntho e tshwana. They have contracted numerous of those in command of the LDF. Mento yona eo e beze e bolaya the spirit and commitment of those who are still serving, because they are still waiting for their chance and contribute to the leadership of the departments in which they are. So in a way it's more like an insult to those who are still young and upcoming, to say I don't have trust to you, I better go and get somebody who was already out of the service to come back because I don't trust you. In short, that's the message the government is sending to those people who are still serving. And I think hase molaetsa o motle hore batho ba ntseng ba sebetsa o totobatse ba sa sebetse ba sena boiphihlelo o sena thahasello ho bona. Mme jwale ke nka mono mhlompheto na kgolo a hlile a sa tshwara ditaba tseno hantle haholo. Ke bona e ka ba taba e ba ka bodutu ka hare ho public service ka boyona ba yona, and also those security services agencies ke ntho e nyotobetsang maikutlo a bona haholo mosebetsi ha jwale tjena ba ntse ba lelekisana le motjhotjhisi e moholo the DPP ba batla ho leleka e le hore ba bele ba tlobeya motho eo e leng wa bona ya tla tseba ho sefa dithahasello tsa bona. Mme ha o hahe public service ka sebopeho seno le ditsi tseno statutory positions, you don't actually fill them up with your own people, but you fill them up with capable people to work and deliver for the country. Doesn't mean necessarily that they should be your own people. Me RFP a ka ba sheba le mmuso wa yona tsela eo e kgannang ka yona is the opposite of what they promised to the people. Bana ba tshepisitse hore they will apply meritocracy when they employ and deploy people, but that is not what they are doing. They are untrustworthy to the electorates. Ka hore ba tshepise hona empa ba bele ba etse ho hong ho fapaneng le ho e le hore re nka ba hle ba dia ditsi tseo ka reng ke tsona tshiya ya puso ya naha ya Lesotho, in those statutory positions, the command in the security services, e tshwanela e be batho ba ntseng ba ena le trust of the people, hore ba ka sebeletsa batho e seng a certain political party. Office ya DPP is at the center of justice. Obane ki yona eo batho ba ka qoswang e tlang ho hlahloba e be e fela e fetisa ha e bona eka seo motho a qoswang ka sona sena le bopaki se ka tshwareha ke yona e tla fetela khotla eo kosa. So ha e ba ka dipolitiki a ka batla hore motho a ka ofising eno ya DPP e be motho wa hae o bolela hore justice will not be done for the comrades of such a person. Batho ba party ene jwalo ha ona tsela ba tla tseba go kana batho ba amana le batho ba ka puso ha ona tsela ba tla go kana hobane ba tla bolaya dinyewe tseno ofising yona eno ya director of public institutions ene motjhisi wa dinyewe tsa mmuso.
But isn't the criticism that your government, when the DC was still in power, it also did exactly the same?
No, we have not expelled the DPP ourselves. This DPP we are talking about was appointed by ABC regime. And when we came back, we never expelled her on the basis that he was appointed by the other Prime Minister. The DPP worked during our government, but we inherited the personnel in that office from the past regime. We came in with Dr. Malo while I was the Deputy Prime Minister. We never did anything with the DPP.
But not necessarily the DPP, but the issue of ambassadors who are being recalled. Once a new government takes over, then they replace them with their own people. We should
do it in a smart way. We should wait for people's contracts to expire. We don't just uproot people when you come in, because simply you are saying those are not your people. Most of the people we found having been contracted in certain areas and positions, we waited for their contracts to expire.
Then you put your own.
Then we actually appoint those whom we think are fit for the office.
So if I hear you correctly, you're not happy with how you referred to that as state capture, some kind of state capture?
That's actually a state capture in the making. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So how would you have done things differently? Let's say you had won the elections in 2022.
And being a new PM altogether, like the new party and the new PM.
Yes.
Actually, the bigger thing for me would be to unite the country on the basis that I don't have clashes with numerous of the people, because you are a new sheriff in the town. So the first thing was to actually try and bring programs that unite the people. So this one of expelling the people because they don't belong to your party is a no-go area for someone who is trying to unite and build the nation anew. You have to give people benefit of that. Expel them on the basis of when they're failing to perform. Not simply because they are not in your party, you have to expel them. No. These are the Basotho people who will actually have to work in their own country. They should offer the skills and services.
If you met the Prime Minister one-on-one to talk about these national issues?
Yeah, not one-on-one, but we have met as leaders, a group of leaders together. Not one-on-one. Yeah.
What have you told him?
The same things I'm talking about now, that he must pick up the country, unite it, and give people a new hope.
And what was his response?
Then he will always say they will keep on trying to do good things. It is their intention to do what they think is good for the country.
So tell me about the state of the DC at present. How is the party? How is the health of the party?
No, our party is the most stable in the country, and the second largest political party, basing myself on the 2022 general elections results. We are still stable, and we are still intact. So it's my hope that we will grow and regroup and organize ourselves from strength to strength, gearing up for the next elections, whenever they could be called, not necessarily in 2028, because there is a chance that PM might call maybe a snap election. So we are ready all the times to actually go for elections at any time. So we have not rested, we are building our party.
So if there are snap elections, how would you rate the chances of the DC?
Yeah, definitely would come back as the most stable united party. I have no doubt we can be in a position to outcompete all the parties in this country. We stand a better chance.
What is your response to criticism that you have found it very difficult to fit into the shoes of the former DC leader, Dade Mathibeli?
That I found it very difficult myself. The party wouldn't be stable and the party wouldn't be growing. I couldn't have kept the same number of MPs, and I could not have even performed better in local government general elections. Remember, DC outperformed itself just in the past general elections after the general elections of the country. We did well, quite well. So I don't actually subscribe to the idea that I found it difficult. The party would have been shut up by now if it was difficult. But this is the only party in this country which is still united. One flag and one leader. All these parties are torn apart, except for the DC. And I don't know where the notion comes from that I found it difficult, or it's just an allegation.
Okay.
Those people would have to convince me beyond rest of that.
All right.
Yeah.
Now tell me about just before the elections, there was this noise about yourself buying makwenya from these
Okay.
from these vendors. What was the rationale behind that strategy when you were buying this makwenya from the vendors?
No, not actually the Makwenya. We were supporting the street hawkers and small business people across the country, in the townships. That we were actually saying we could stand with you.
How effective was that?
It was quite effective because that helped us to come back in the lowlands.
But others thought that the strategy didn't really work for you. Instead, you were the recipient of attacks on the social media.
No.
Were you aware of that negative sentiments that came on social media following that that experience on the streets?
That the strategy to buy from the street vendors.
The negative comments that came from them.
Yeah, I was quite aware of them. Mpa hadika batasebeza hagalo bali. Hauga wa share. Even RFP leader actually imitated me in support of the street vendors. A number of other leaders tried to follow our footsteps in that issue of supporting the street vendors. Jwale batho ba neng ba e lwantsha hobane ba bona e sebetsa taba eno ya ho support ba itshukudi ko bane ba ne ba utlwa pressure ya support ya DC in the townships. Me le ho sa no hona ho sasa we could still repeat the same strategy because that's not a bad strategy. We have to support our own. And if we were in government, we could continue supporting now through other programs such as helping those people with trainings, helping them to actually save the money, small as it is, that they generate from their small businesses. We could continue to support them to build places where they could actually work in decent places and clean places. So we had a program, and that was on the road. Yes.
we opened up the platform to our readers on Facebook. Then I said, now that we have a chance to speak to that Mokhothu, what questions would you want us to ask?
Yeah,
him?
I saw that.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
So one of the questions that came is the promise that you made, that you wanted to build flyovers in towns.
Yes.
So they are asking, how practical is it to build?
No, it is practical, because even their government also has actually bought into the idea.
Now he makes a follow-up question and says, if you say you're going to do it,
Yes.
how come your government struggled to fill the potholes in towns, especially
Who said we struggled?
the reader?
No, we were not struggling. Everything goes according to the plan. We didn't struggle. But actually we had a plan to build the roads in the town, inclusive of the same roads we are talking about. The issue of the potholes was also one of those ones which worried us as well. But then we had a plan, and it was going to be sponsored through the budget.
The next question that we got on Facebook says, what is your party's response to the infrastructural improvements that have been done under the Matekane?
That's a myth. How many kilometers of the roads are they talking about? Ka ho etsa tsela e tloang Sekeleng mo ya Sekeleng e ya sephethephethe se seholo, and via Mokhothu Street up to the Pioneer Mall. One road, the shorter one. Then they're going to town about that. No. How do you go in as far as the roads are concerned?
So, if I get you well, is that an acknowledgement, or is that dismissive to say, look, it's not?
No, I'm dismissing that. These people have not yet. In 2 years, they are talking about only one road in the town. In 2 years.
So you're not happy with it?
There are still a lot of potholes in the town. Still more has to be done. They have only constructed a shorter road through maintenance. It's not even a new building on the road, it's maintenance. What about the new roads that they have to build? What about the bridges that were cut by the heavy rains? When are they going to do them? But now 2 years is gone, they are left with only 3 years to go for elections. No major development is being done. People are getting killed. We are still short of roads and bridges in the villages. No electricity project that they have done in the villages. No new schools that are built in the villages. Factories are getting closed. People are getting retrenched. Young people from university are not getting employment. So what are they talking about? There's more hunger than before.
So let me come back to that question. If you were in the Prime Minister's seat right now, how would you do things differently?
Not differently, because I've never been a Prime Minister. Or different in comparison to what these ones are doing now.
Yes.
Not in comparison with what I did in the past.
Yes.
Okay. I get it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I would reform the budget of this country to enable it to be used more particularly to infrastructure, the roads, water provision, the provision of electricity, those are major things that I would focus upon, because those are the major problems that are confronting this country. And also focus on projects that are actually having high potential of job creation, and fight issues of the killings that are rampant around our country, because that's a bad image of us as a country. Yes. Well, I think the last comment that I can do is the government must focus more on building institutions of this country, statutory offices, the National Assembly itself, the judiciary. We should actually give the judiciary in full independence, the resources. We should give them money, a certain percentage out of the GDP, so that they are fully independent. They will be able to actually share the money according to how they themselves want to, across different departments of judiciary, like IEC as well. We have to capacitate our institutions in this country. We have to give IEC money, a share from the GDP, and let the IEC be independent. Not like now, when we still have the budget of the IEC controlled by the Ministry of the Government. Even procurement of the IEC is controlled by finance on the other side, and Ministry of Law is controlling the budget of the IEC. IEC must be accountable straight to Parliament. The judiciary must account straight away to Parliament on the basis of how they have used the money. More like the anti-corruption, they should actually account straight to Parliament, and let the office of the BPP to be independent. Should not be driven by any minister around. No. So my advice as a Democrat is that this government should let democracy to thrive and build institutions, while they must be busy fighting poverty and corruption, and make sure that they put infrastructure in place to better the lives of the people, and provide services such as passports, IDs, and make sure that people get access credit facilities, so that business people are able to push and build their own businesses and let the economy to thrive. Yes. While on the other side, the government must engage their counterpart in South Africa to make sure that Lesotho is able to access the sea and unlock its potential or grow its own economy. Not the situation whereby we are in now and we are 100% painting on South Africa. We must access the sea, we must have a land strip to the sea.
If you had discussions with South Africa on that aspect of that corridor to the sea?
We did. I led the delegation of about 8 ministers to South Africa. We were talking about strengthening our relationship, making sure that they don't actually stamp the passports at the border gate. But our people must be allowed to travel in South Africa, and the South Africans must be allowed to travel into Lesotho, using the IDs, and also giving us the issue of the corridor to South Africa, the corridor to the sea.
What was the South Africans' response?
Actually, they said that needs much more deliberations on both sides, but it is the issue that they were willing to look into, because that is what can actually help the Lesotho people in as far as poverty is concerned.
What's your take on the recent elections in South Africa?
Yeah, the government in South Africa is weakened because it's no longer the government of one party. they are at a stage which we were some 10 years back in 2012. So they will taste what we tasted. They will also at one stage need the mediators to go and solve some of their issues when they don't look into issues alike. But I think for Lesotho and South Africa, this issue of the corridor and unlocking the economy of Lesotho should be a priority of whatever government is in place. We need to seriously engage for the benefit of the entire Lesotho nation to actually drive them out of poverty.
Just an explanation on this corridor. How would it work in practical terms?
Yeah, that would say South Africa will give us a certain portion of land that will allow us to access the sea straight away without having to travel through South Africa. Yeah. That's the corridor.